No one gets to finish a sentence here anymore. Okay.
No, I think the point Alyssa's making here is she is a free speech.
Don't speak for her. She speaks very well for herself.
No, but and I'm not doing that.
We all act like we're for free speech when it's the things we like. When somebody wants to defend the free speech of people who disagree.
The last thing I'll say is, let's just break it down to bare bones. This is about the fact that our many corporations, and especially these oligarchs that own these social media companies, are bowing down to Trump so that they can make money off of the American people.
Okay.
2 days later.
Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you're meeting me for the first time, my name is Clevy and it is so nice to meet you. We are back with another video from your favorite people from The View. Let's dive right into this one because honestly, there's always something going on there. Always something.
Now we're going to something kind of surprising, I guess. Online misinformation and hate speech continue to plague social media. Meta and Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg says he's following the footsteps of ex-owner Elon Musk by getting rid of third-party fact-checking on the site. Now, here's what he said yesterday.
We've reached a point where it's just too many mistakes and too much censorship. The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech. So we're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms. We're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes, similar to X. We're going to simplify our content policies and get rid of a bunch of restrictions on topics like immigration and gender that are just out of touch with mainstream discourse. We used to have filters that scanned for any policy violation. Now, we're going to focus those filters on tackling illegal and high-severity violations. And for lower severity violations, we're going to rely on someone reporting an issue before we take action.
Oh, boy.
I'm just curious because human rights activists warn that this is a major step back that'll have misinformation, conspiracy theories, and bigotry running wild on the site. My question is, when did fact-checking become a bad thing?
Since Donald Trump became president. Yeah. What does free speech have to do with fact-checking?
Because it's imperfect. It's not as simple as the sky is blue, the grass is green. We know the facts on that. Sometimes it comes into opinions or viewpoints. This is still a town square. I tend to be a free speech absolutist as long as it's not harming someone else.
We know the difference between an opinion and a fact. We do
no,
it
but
every day.
A lot of this can be viewpoints where somebody could say, well, this is my viewpoint on it. And there were moderating things around language you used around certain issues.
I'm going to just reject the fact that we don't know what a fact is.
And you know,
I reject it outright.
No
there is a
one's
difference between opinion and fact. And there is, journalists, like people that are, work for the New York Times, they know how to fact check. Journalism students are taught. You fact check 3 different sources.
Journalists have gotten things wrong, though.
So this notion that, the reason that they're doing this is because, they can't fact check it.
But free speech gives you a right to be wrong. You think it shouldn't be as much?
Users are now allowed to, for example, refer to women as household objects.
It's an interesting conversation.
The last thing I'll say is, let's just break it down to bare bones. This is about President-elect Trump going back to the White House. Mark Zuckerberg and Meta dined with Trump at Mar-a-Lago in November. Meta just donated $1 million to support his inauguration. Zuckerberg also elevated Joel Kaplan, the highest-ranking Meta executive closest to the Republican Party, to the company's most senior policy role. And on Monday, Zuckerberg said Dana White, the head of the Ultimate Fighting Championship and an ally of Trump's, would join Meta's board.
So how does all of this...
This is about the fact that our many corporations, and especially these oligarchs that own these social media companies, are bowing down to Trump so that they can make money off of the American people.
That's
It's
not
suddenly-
true.
we
I don't want you calling me. I don't want people to
comedy
call
needs to be able
folks.
to push limits.
Listen, comedy does push limits, but be smarter in your comedy. You don't need to offend me to be funny. I don't need to offend you to be funny. And so there are.
Tends to be offensive and push
Well, no,
boundaries,
not
question
that's
governments.
actually not necessarily true. The best comedy doesn't always tend to be offensive. It just doesn't.
Okay, the First Amendment doesn't apply to private companies, which is why I'm
Correct.
frustrated Mark Zuckerberg did this. But there are countries in Europe who have modified the way they're allowed to talk about people.
Yes.
I actually support some eliminations on hate speech.
Yeah.
Which makes me not an absolutist, but I'm okay with it.
Because there are things that we collectively can say, we respect everybody's right not to be called a name. If you take that away and you allow that, it's a problem.
They didn't allow it before, and they allow it now, and they
Well,
allow
it's
it
not
now
a good
never
thing.
really existed on any platform I've been
President-elect
on.
Donald Trump.
Where do I even start from? If Sonny could tell the difference between fact and opinion, trust me, she would not have to read so many legal notes on air. A minuscule amount of self-awareness would have stopped her from saying that out loud. She doesn't view having to read, legal notes as being forced to correct a false statement she's made. She views it as sexist, facial fascism to oppress her. And to think that she's a lawyer. That old panel at The View misses one important point. A feeling is not a fact. You can feel something. It does not equate to that being a fact. We all have different feelings about different matters. It doesn't make that... That's what they fail to understand. And the funny thing is, they don't even see their own hypocrisy. They don't see it. I told my friend the other day, I said, just believe the opposite of Sonny and you'll always be right. Whatever she says, believe the opposite and you would be right. Is it just me, but when did the View start valuing truth and ethics? And since when did they become journalists? Because I just thought it was just women coming together saying bunch of things. When did they become journalists? I wonder if Whoopi is going to talk about Elon Musk suing her for defamation for $80 million. And of course, I'm not ending this video without asking you this question. What did you think about this topic? Let me know in the comment section and I'll meet you right there.